Performance USA, the greatest entertainers in America, as requested by you, the fighting men of the United States Armed Forces throughout the world. Command Performance, presented this week and every week till it's over there. Hello there, gang. This is Ken Carpenter, knocking off the top of another jug of that Kickapoo Joy Juice labeled Command Performance. Brewed in the USA and bottled expressly for the AEF and your friends in all the United Nations. This is your mail order show. You mail the orders to Command Performance, Armed Forces Radio, Los Angeles, USA, and the stars fill those orders for delivery to all APO and FPO numbers. Tonight, the American entertainment industry and American radio salute their military sidekick, Army Radio, as Command Performance celebrates the first year of GI broadcasting over the American Expeditionary Radio stations in the North African theater. When the AEF landed on the African continent, Army transmitters went ashore. Army's radio stations move with our troops. They're operated by American soldiers for American soldiers. They serve in battle areas and each week are broadcasting some 42 hours of entertainment. Thus, Command Performance, made on this stage in Hollywood, is rebroadcast not only by our good friends in the Allied Nations, but in Casablanca, Oran, Algiers, Tunis, Palermo, Naples, and others. And through American expeditionary stations, it will one day be rebroadcast from a battered town called Berlin. So tonight, for the benefit of the AEF everywhere, Command Performance has rounded up a flock of great stars who have stood in person before the microphone of American expeditionary stations in North Africa, presenting the North African Follies, starring Francis Langford, Anna Lee, Martha Raye, Carole Landis, Mitzi Mayfair, and Kaye Francis, and oh, yes, their chaperone, tight-fisted, pardon me, two-fisted Bob Hope.
How do you do, ladies and gentlemen? This is Bob, Command Performance Hope, telling the Axis, wherever they may be, that the Allies aren't going to stop until we get rid of that horse's neck in Tokyo and the other part of the horse in Berlin. Yes, sir, this show is dedicated to the North African Network, and everybody in the show tonight was in North Africa and had a great time there. Al Jolson was there. You should have seen him. He got down on one knee to sing Mammy, and before he could get up, he lost $60 in the crap game. And you should have seen Martha Raye. Boy, was she a hit. As soon as she arrived, everybody wanted her telephone number, but it's a military secret. It's known only by the Army and Navy. And boy, were those soldiers starved for the sight of a woman. When Francis Langford stepped off the plane, one sergeant turned to another and said, "What is it, a new booby trap?" You should have seen Francis with all those soldiers. You should have seen her. I didn't. But it's wonderful out in the desert. You see nothing but sand and Arabs. You know what an Arab is. That's a fellow who gets out of bed every morning and takes a sheet with him. But I didn't mind. The Arabs were very friendly and took me to the native quarter to see the native girls. They all wear veils. A veil, that's a knitted obstacle course. We were there for a few minutes when one of the native girls went into a native dance. And what a dance. She had more bumps than a Jeep with a flat tire. After a few days, the commander of the unit asked me if I'd like to go for a ride in a camel. You've seen a camel, haven't you? That's a cow upside down. Or a Crosby horse with his girdle pulled too tight. You like that better? Glad I thought of that. It's one of my ad-libs from the file. But I got out of the camel and rode out into the desert with the troops for 4 hours. Now I know what they call it, a standing army. I have nothing to help that joke. But those camels are remarkable. They can go for 6 years without water. W.C. Fields just tops them. And you should see those mosquitoes down there in Africa. Sahara Desert mosquito. That's a cross between a P-38 and Dracula. I wouldn't say they're big, but the men mosquitoes hang around all day and whistle at the flying fortresses. But enough of that. Let's cut a little jive. Here's an aggregation of musicians who used to play in a dozen or so of America's hottest named bands, and today play for that hot aggregation, the Air Corps. The 370th Army Air Forces Orchestra, the San Bernardino Air Service Command, coming in on Alexander's Ragtime Band. Sergeant Arvin Dale carrying the vocals.
Alexander's Ragtime Band. Come on in here, it's the best band in the land. Plays music all like you never heard before, so natural that you want to go to war. It's just the bestest band, what am? Bonnie Lamb, come on along, let me take you by the hand. To the man, he's the leader of the band. And if you want to hear that Swanee River played in ragtime, come on here, Alexander's Ragtime Band.
Thanks to the 370th Army Air Forces Band of the San Bernardino Air Service Command. Well, gang, in old mythology, a guy named Ulysses did plenty of traveling, and so did that boy Gulliver, but they never got around like a girl named Anna Lee. Anna worked with Adolph Monju over in Africa. You all know Monju. He's the best-dressed man in Hollywood. I give him all my old suits. Well, anyway, Anna Lee has been all over North Africa, and in honor of the American expeditionary stations over there, Command Performance is glad to give you another of your close friends, Anna Lee. Hello, Anna.
Hi, Bob. And hello, Africa, and all points of the AEF.
Say, Anna, you trooped the North African circuit with Jack Benny, didn't you?
Yes, Bob. We had a little act. Jack and I did a romantic love scene together.
A love scene with Benny? That's getting your vitamin B1 the hard way. But, Anna, how was Benny to work with?
Well, actually, Bob, Jack was wonderful. And in all our traveling around, he was always the perfect gentleman.
Well, cheer up, Anna. There'll be other trips. I may whip you into one of my little units someday. Take a wolfhound with you. By the way, how did Jack go over with the boys overseas?
Oh, he was marvelous. Sensational. Absolutely terrific.
Oh, that's a relief. For a minute there, I thought he did as well as I did. Say, I thought Jack was going to be here tonight. Isn't he supposed to be on this program?
Yes, but he has a bad cold. In fact, he's got a mustard plaster on his chest and one on his back.
He puts them on every winter to keep from buying an overcoat. Fred Allen wrote this stuff for me. He may not be sick at all.
Oh, yes, he is. I dropped by to see him this afternoon, and he was under 4 blankets and a polar bear.
That's Benny for you. He doesn't care who catches his cold.
How can a polar bear catch a cold?
From another polar bear with a cold, I guess. I don't know much about polar bears. I'm more of a beaver man. But I've to put a hot beaver on a night the way I feel it. I got a couple of them building a dam for me now.
That could... that could only happen in a Disney cartoon.
What's that?
A beaver building a dam for a wolf.
Don't write things in after rehearsal, please.
But seriously, Bob, we know how much Jack Benny wanted to be here tonight. So maybe I can pinch hit for him and send his regards along with mine to all the men we met in Africa, Sicily, Italy, and elsewhere.
You just go right ahead and call them up.
Well, I'll make it snappy, Bob, and say hello to some of the fellows who worked in our little show in Africa. To Corporal Bill Stein and Sarge Bill Costello. Famous G.I. vaudeville acts of Stein and Costello. Or Costello and Stein. And say, how's Private Lloyd Chasteen doing on that guitar these days? Hello, Lloyd. And fellas, remember PFC Jerry Bergman and his magic tricks? Bergman, the Orson Welles of North Africa. And that famous gag line of his. Close your eyes. Dark, isn't it? Kelowna with an accent. And how about Private Woody Davis? Remember how I'd pick a romantic male lead from the audience, and it was Woody Davis? You called him the Ronald Colman of North Africa. And my best to Jim Rawley, Frank Kazarick, and George Tarbutton at your swell American Expeditionary Station in Oran. Love to all my engineers in the engineer section of the 7th Army, and to all of you everywhere. A promise to do our best for you on the radio and in person, till the day that New York City rains confetti on the biggest homecoming celebration in history. So long, fellas.
Thanks, Anna Lee. And, fellas, another favorite number in your Pocatru department. All of you bending an ear to those Army radio stations in the African theater and around the earth have a soft spot in your heart for a girl who got to meet thousands of you and sing for you in person a few months ago. She's a great gal, and here she comes. Another command performance for Frances Langford.
Hello, Bob, and fellas, a big kiss for each one of you in the South Pacific, the North Atlantic, China, India, Alaska, the Caribbean, ships at sea, flying fortresses, the infantry, Marine Corps, the Seabees, the Coast Guard.
Hey, Francis, slow down. Even pistol-packing mama can't pack a load of kisses that big.
But, Bob, I can just hear the men over there saying, give me everything you've got.
And over here, I can hear the girls saying, keep everything you got. But, Francis, since we got back from the trip, I understand the fellas write you lots of swell letters asking you to go over again.
That's right, Bob. And they want you to go, too.
Gee, that's swell. Where do they want me to go this time?
Well, I don't know. They just say, as far as we're concerned, Bob Hope can go, too, and the censor cuts out the next word.
The censor's only trying to protect me. He knows I always fly, and he doesn't want me to fly into Crosby Stork. You know they mounted a 75-millimeter cannon on that Crosby Stork?
Why, is he looking for trouble?
No, he's looking for Crosby.
By the way, Bob, haven't you and Bing started a new picture?
Yes, I'm still working with Crosby. What else can I do? Sinatra was made 1A.
But, Bob, I read today that Sinatra was reclassified 4F.
Francis, the gag was written when Sinatra was 1A. Don't louse it up, please.
Well, anyway...
No, Crosby's 4F, father 4 times. You know that, don't
you? You better pass out my music. I want to say hello, General Eisenhower, and your fighting Americans, and send them a swell new tune.
Okay, Franny. Fellas, Francis Langford singing My Heart Tells Me.
My heart tells me this is just a fling. Yet you say our love means everything. Do you mean what you are saying? Or is this a little game you're playing? My heart tells me I will cry again. Lips that kiss like yours could lie again. If I'm fool enough to see this through, will I be sorry if I do? Should I believe my heart or you? My heart tells me I will cry again. Lips that kiss like yours could lie again. If I'm fool enough to see that through, will I be sorry if I do? Should I believe my heart or you?
That was swell. Thank you, Mother. Thank you, Mother Langford, and many thanks. Well, fellas, one of the really great entertainment missions of the war so far was led by those four famous Jills who went jeeping around North Africa a few months ago. They were the first gal quartet to hit North Africa after touching off Bermuda, England, Scotland, and Ireland. When they got back to home plate here in Hollywood, a big studio corralled them and popped them into a picture called Four Jills in the Jeep, the story of their trip. For the first time on Command Performance, the reunion of the four Jills, Kaye Francis, Carole, Landis, Martha Raye, and Mitzi Mayfair.
Hello, men. Kaye Francis reporting. Hiya, fellows. This is Carole. Hello, gang. Mitzi talking. Oh, boy, here we go again.
You know, girls, we wanted you on Command Performance tonight for a special reason.
You mean because we made the trip to Africa?
Well, yes, Mitzi, but besides that, we have a sketch planned which shows how a typical group of soldiers might talk about you visiting their station.
Okay, where are the guys?
Martha, you're the guy. Slim, Butch, Spike, and Max.
You mean we're going to be soldiers?
That's right, Carole.
Well, who's who?
Kay, you're a private named Slim. Carole Landis, you're Spike. Mitzi, you're Maxie. And Martha Raye, you're Butch.
Butch, that's a fine high-class name to give a high-class dame like me. High-class.
It's only for a little while. The scene is a distant outpost in North Africa. Kaye Francis, Carole Landis, Martha Raye, and Mitzi Mayfair have just given a show, and four of the guys that saw them are lying around their tent talking about the girls. Let's listen.
Say, did you get a load about Mitzi Mayfair dancing? Boy, what a pair of gams. Thanks, Kay. Hey, shut up. This is a play. We're supposed to be soldiers. Yeah, you're right, Slim. That Mayfair is a dish, but personally, I'll take Martha Raye. She's a blockbuster with sex appeal. Wow! Sex appeal? Well, how about that Carole Landis? What a build on her! Say, Frances ain't exactly a dish rag. She's okay for me. You said it. She may have a little bit of age on her. But, buddy, that's when they know. Hey, guys, I heard a rumor this morning.
A rumor? Where'd you hear it? Why do you usually hear rumors in the Army?
Well, anyhow, I got it straight that Frances Langford's coming here pretty soon.
Frances Langford? Boy, what a build on her. Wow, wow.
Artie, everybody's got a build on them. You know, me, I think that Langford's a little too skinny. Oh, yeah? She ain't skinny where she's not supposed to be. A lot you know about dames. Zazu Pitts is your pin-up girl. Yeah, you. Saw those tomatoes you ran around with them silly and you talk.
What are you guys arguing about? We aren't going to wind up with any of those babes anyway. Yeah? Well, I don't know about that. When I got Mitzi Mayfair's autograph, she gave me a nice little wink.
That was just a twitch. She's nervous from her trip. Now, if you said Martha Raye gave you a wink, why, I'd believe it.
Yeah,
she's really man crazy.
Oh, come on, break it up. Just a minute, you're talking about the dame I love. Yeah, Mitzi.
Your turn, good.
Oh, yeah, well, I'm sorry, fellas. Oh, yeah. You're talking about the dame I love. Oh, I said that. Well, what a build on her.
Great fight. Any other gals coming with Frances Langford? Nope, just Bob Hope. Just Bob Hope? Now, there's a guy with talent. I bet he does all right with the babes out in Hollywood. Yeah, he's just a lot of wind. I bet he don't get any more dates at home than we do. Well, he's always talking about broad. Wishful thinking. He probably lives like a hermit.
Yeah, if he's a hermit, I bet his beard is solid lipstick.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I want to hit the hay. With a little luck, you know, I might dream about Kaye Frances. Yeah, I'm tired, too. Sure hope I dream about Carole Landis. Gosh, I'd like to meet Mitzi Mayfair in my dreams. Hey, Butch, who would you like to dream about?
Bob Hope. What a build on him.
Thank you, girls. And for that international fan club that Command Performance has picked up via American expeditionary stations all over the world, here's a little combination of thousands of you have ordered. Martha Raye singing Mr. Paganini.
The concert was over in Carnegie Hall, and the maestro took bow after bow. He said, my dear friend, I have given my all. And I'm sorry it's all over now. When from the gallery, I rose from my seat with this mournful cry. Oh, Mr. Paganini, please play my rhapsody, and if you can can't sing it, then you'll simply have to swing it. I said swing it, oh, I need swing it, oh, ding dong ding it. Come! Mr. Paganini, we breathlessly await your masterful baton. I'll go on and I'll swing it. And if you can't swing it, then you simply have to. We've heard your repertoire, boot, boot, and at that final bar, we greeted you with wild applause. Love, man. What a great ovation with your interpretation of would call you. Mr. Paganini, now don't you be a meanie. What have you up your sleeve? Come on and bring it. If you can't bring it, then you simply have to. Well, get it, boy. Well, swing it. Get it. Well, snap my wig, eat all day. Won't you swing it, Mr. T?
Well, gang, Martha just cut the last piece of cake on this anniversary party, honoring... There she is. Wonderful, Martha. I said Martha just cut the last piece of cake on this anniversary party honoring the American Expeditionary Radio stations in North Africa. As this command performance goes winging its way across the Atlantic, it passes greetings radioed from Army stations in England to stations in Alaska, from stations serving the armed forces in Alaska to the armed forces listening to expeditionary stations in the South and Southwest Pacific, from Iran to North Africa and back to the Aleutians. The American Expeditionary Radio stations are the voice of the AEF, one American voice heard in the frozen Arctic and the jungles below the equator, an Army and Navy battle station in between, a voice that carries American entertainment around the world. These stations serve as links in the chain that binds the AEF closer together and brings the AEF closer to this nation it serves so well. To you men who run those stations, thanks for a swell job and good luck in your splendid plans for the days that lie ahead. And to your listeners, the best of the best from the USA. So long, fellas.
And this is Ken Carpenter saying we're glad to get those letters to Command Performance, Armed Forces Radio, Los Angeles, USA. Command Performance is arranged in cooperation with the Hollywood Victory Committee for the men and women of the Armed Forces of the United Nations and is produced by the Armed Forces Radio Service.